Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something we all need to do pretty often.
Yeah.
Making suggestions in English.
Mm-hmm. It comes up all the time.
Yeah, whether you're trying to help someone or maybe bouncing ideas around with colleagues.
Or just figuring out weekend plans, right?
Exactly. Offering suggestions is definitely key, but sometimes doing it clearly and politely, that can feel a bit tricky.
It can, yeah. So our mission, kind of in this deep dive, is to explore some straightforward, friendly, and really usable ways to make suggestions.
Okay.
And we've got a good source for this, an English language learning resource, a segment that really breaks down some phrases you can use, like straight away.
Great. So let's jump right in then. The source we're looking at, it starts with a really foundational phrase. How about wuss? Feels like a definite go-to.
Oh, absolutely. It's super versatile. The examples they give, like, how about going to the park?
Or about some tea.
Right. Or how about studying together? It shows how you can use it with verbs ending in ing, like going or studying, and also just with nouns like tea.
Yeah.
It's incredibly common in everyday chat. Do you notice yourself using that one a lot?
I think I probably do, yeah, especially for spontaneous stuff. Like, okay, what should we do now? How about,
Right.
So the next one the source brings up is maybe a bit softer. Maybe we could.
Yes, exactly. Maybe we could watch a movie tonight. That's the example.
Yeah.
And it really does have that gentler feel.
Yeah.
Adding the maybe and the could.
Yeah.
It just makes it sound more like a possibility, less demanding. It's really useful if you don't know someone that well, perhaps.
Definitely. You don't want to sound like you're giving orders or being too pushy.
When might you lean towards that softer option?
Probably in more formal settings too. Or, yeah, like you said, with new people. Just feels safer.
Makes sense.
Okay, next up in our suggestion toolkit here is, why don't we...
Yes, and the example used is a classic. Why don't we meet on Saturday?
Right. Seems perfect for plans.
It is, yeah. Really good for suggesting specific times or just proposing you do something together. He kind of frames it as a joint idea, almost like an invitation, doesn't it?
It does feel quite inclusive, I think. Like, let's figure this out together.
Exactly.
Now, there was a nice little story in the source material kind of illustrating these phrases. One of the original hosts was in a cafe.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And a tourist was looking for something sweet. And the host suggested, maybe you could try the chocolate cake.
Yeah, that's such a great real world example. It shows how just a simple, polite phrase can make a real difference.
You imagine the tourist felt helped, right?
Yeah.
And the host probably got a little confidence boost from using English effectively like that.
For sure. It shows it's not just about grammar rules. It's about, actually connecting with people.
Absolutely. Connection. Yeah. That's key.
Makes the whole thing feel less theoretical.
Yeah.
So the source then had this little mini game idea.
Right, to practice. Yeah. Putting the phrases into action in different situations. Let's try that. First one, it's raining outside. What suggestion comes to mind using these?
Okay, raining? Well, based on our toolkit, something like, how about we stay inside and play a game? Seems pretty natural.
Yeah, how about? Works well there. Good alternative plan. Okay, next up. You're hungry.
Hungry? Okay. Following their lead, maybe something like, maybe we could grab some noodles. That feels right.
Maybe we could. Nice and casual.
Yeah, the maybe keeps it light, like it's just an option on the table.
Gotcha. Okay, last one for the game. You're tired after a long day at work.
Oof, tired after work. Well, the suggestion they highlighted was, why don't we take a short nap?
Why don't we, again, that shared feeling.
Exactly. It invites the other person into the idea, doesn't it? Like, let's both rest.
It really does show how each phrase has its own little nuance, its own flavor.
Definitely.
Now, they also mentioned another really common one, let's.
Ah, yes. Let's.
Yeah.
Great one. So simple, but quite powerful.
Yeah. How so?
Well, it creates this sense of immediate shared action. The example was, let's practice English after lunch.
Okay.
It's direct, yeah, but it's friendly because let us automatically includes both people. It's a team thing. When would you maybe pick let's?
I think when I feel like we're already sort of on the same page, or if I really want to encourage us to just do something together right now.
Good point. Yeah, it's got that sort of mobilizing feel.
One thing the source really stressed, though, which I think is important, is tone, your tone of voice.
Oh, absolutely crucial.
They said even if your grammar isn't, perfect, if you sound friendly and helpful, people usually get your intention.
That is such a key takeaway. Your tone can completely change how a suggestion lands. A friendly tone just smooths everything over, makes people more receptive.
Definitely. It's like that saying, kindness is a universal language sort of thing.
Right. It makes you think, how does your tone usually come across when you're suggesting things? Something to be mindful of.
Yeah, good point. So, okay, let's recap the main things we've pulled out. We've basically put together a little suggestion toolkit.
Exactly. A toolkit with some really handy phrases. We've got the versatile, how about, that gentler one, maybe we could.
Hey.
The inclusive, why don't we?
Yeah.
And that direct, friendly, let's.
Right. 4 solid options there.
Each giving you a slightly different way to put an idea out there.
All right, so let's start to wrap up this deep dive. We've dug into some pretty simple but effective ways to make suggestions in English, all based on that language learning source.
Yeah, and just to list those key phrases one more time for you. How about, maybe we could. Why don't we? And let's. Worth keeping those in your back pocket.
Definitely. So maybe a little challenge for you listening. Try and use just one of these today, even if it's just in your head practicing the situation.
Or better yet, try it out with a friend or colleague.
Yeah, make a suggestion. See how it feels.
And remember, language learning is all about those small steps, right? Every little bit of practice builds confidence. It really does add up.
So true. Okay, so here's a final thought for you to maybe mull over. Think about those subtle differences we talked about. How about one versus maybe we could? When would you instinctively use one over the other?
Consider the context who you're talking to, the situation. Is it casual, formal, social, work? How might switching the phrase change how your suggestion is actually heard?
Yeah, understanding those nuances. That's kind of the next level of communication, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
Something to think about.